Hey everybody, Boss here. Today I want to go over the differences between a vinyl pressed 45 RPM record and a styrene pressed of 45 RPM record. This is mainly of concern to people that collect 45s. There are some LPs that are styrene, but they're very few and far between. You're mainly talking about a 45 RPM record when you're talking about styrene. There's reasons why, if you collect 45, you want to know the difference between a styrene 45 and a vinyl 45. First of all, a vinyl 45 will last many more plays before there's any kind of distortion. That does not mean necessarily that a styrene 45 is bad. I have styrene 45s in my collection. I've played 30 or 40 times, and they sound just as good as the first time I played them. But such as DJs and other instances where you might get a whole lot of plays out of a 45, you're going to want that to be a vinyl 45 instead of a styrene 45. So we're going to go ahead and explain chemically the differences between the two. Vinyl is basically PVC. The letter V in the PVC, that stands for vinyl. It's a plastic resin. It's heavier and it's stronger than a styrene is. The melting temperature of vinyl is about 160 degrees. It was a good choice for, at the time, they're looking for a material to replace what 78s were shellac. People would ship them in the mail, and they'd break because shellac discs broke very easily. So they're looking for a material that was much tougher, much denser, and they could ship a vinyl record and it pretty much wouldn't break. Now styrene is also a plastic resin, but it's basically short for polystyrene. And if you ever had a styrofoam cup or a styrofoam container, that's the same material. It's a foamed version of polystyrene, which is how they come up with the name styrofoam. The main difference is that a styrene record or a polystyrene record is not puffed. But it is the same material. It is lighter than the vinyl is, but it does break easier than vinyl. Other differences between them: vinyl tends to be thinner. The record is thinner itself. The edges tend to be sharper. Also on vinyl, a lot of times you have a jagged edge on the actual 45. This is because when the 45 is pressed, when a vinyl 45 is pressed, there's extra material that kind of oozed out of the pressing machine. So they take it off and they put it on a cutter, and they cut the extra vinyl off. And depending on how sharp that knife is, sometimes it'll leave a jagged edge on the edge of the actual 45. A styrene 45, the edge is thicker and it's blunt. Okay, so I now have two different 45s here. Actually, it's the same 45 as the what it is. They're both Phil Collins, Separate Lives, but one is this one here is a vinyl 45, and this one here is a styrene 45. So from the onset, if you look at both of these, you all really can't tell much of a difference. But I'm going to go ahead and explain to you how you can tell when examining this in a store or what have you. Okay, so first I'm going to go ahead and explain this vinyl 45 to you. Now, a label on a vinyl 45 is usually a little bit larger than a label on a styrene 45. Okay, when they press this record, they put the label in the center and they press it down. So if you take your finger and you start, I know people say don't touch a vinyl. This is going to be on the runout, so it's really not going to cause really much problems with the record. If you put your thumb or something on the runout and go in like that, you see how I'm touching the runout and I'm leading myself in. You're going to feel a bump. And there is an edge on this and it's raised, and you're going to feel this bump up. Or you can take a finger and you can start at the center and you can run it down to the runout, and you're going to definitely feel a bump. Depending on the manufacturers, it may be more pronounced or less pronounced, but you're definitely going to feel this little where it drops down. Okay, and this is the edge of the actual label. Now the physical edge of the label is actually pressed inside of the vinyl. Okay, so that's why the label is a little bit different. You see, these two, the labels almost look like the same size. Okay, but this one, on the Styrene 45, the entire label is here. On this one, some of the label is actually pressed down into the actual vinyl. So if I wanted to take my fingernail, and let's say I wanted to, for whatever reason, I wanted to pick off this label off this record, I have a hard time doing that because I really can't find an edge. Okay, so I mean, sure, you can sit there and spend 15 minutes picking, and you can finally start getting some of it off, but I really cannot find an edge to the label, so it's very difficult to peel or pick this label off. Okay, so now to the Styrene 45. Okay, so this one here, you can take your finger and you can do the same kind of thing, rub it up, and you can actually feel the edge of this label. Okay, in fact, if you wanted to, let's say for whatever reason you wanted to pick this off, you can take your fingernail and feel the edge of the 45, where you could push your fingernail under the edge and pick this label off. That's one thing that you can't do with vinyl. You cannot really say, well, this is the edge. Okay, you can feel this. It's a little bit sharper. And it's definitely this label is glued on. So on the vinyl 45, the label is pressed on. On the Styrene 45, it's glued on. There are some Styrene 45s where the label is actually printed on or painted on. Those are less common, but it does happen. So, but mainly they're glued on like this. If you really wanted to get really picky, if you look here, you can almost see it bubbles on this right here. I don't know if it comes out in the video or not, but I see this right on this edge here. I see some bubbles where the air got stuck between the glue and the label. And in some records, the bubbling can definitely be seen. So if you really want to see, make sure if you have a Styrene 45 or a vinyl 45 based on the material, based on holding the record, you want to, you can feel this edge here. Okay, so, and I have this record here. I got this on purpose. This is an old record. It is a Styrene record, but I wanted to, I'm doing this for a reason here. Over time, people didn't handle the record very well, and you can see here where it's kind of like picking off. Okay, I'm trying to get a good shot of this. I can actually, can I do it this side? Either way, I can pick this off. This is coming off, and you can take my finger, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually coming off. You can see over here it's folded down where it started to come off, and I can pick this. I can go all the way around. See how it's picking off. So that's what a Styrene record will do, because you can see this edge and you can pick this off. You really can't do this on vinyl. I also wanted to go ahead and cover some more ways to know if you have a vinyl 45 or a Styrene 45. One important note to make is that Styrene is pretty much a phenomenon in the United States. So if you have a 45, a 7-inch 45 RPM record, and it was pressed in Germany, pressed in the UK, pressed in Italy, anywhere besides the United States, it's going to be vinyl. I have friends of mine that specifically go out of the way to get 45s from Canada because they know that those records are going to be vinyl. Also, we have records like this. This is Rudy and the Blowfish. This was pressed in 1996. As far as I know, the last factories that were open that were pressing styrene closed around 1993. At my collection, I don't think I have any record, any 45 in my collection past 1993 that's styrene. So this is 1996. We know that this is going to be vinyl simply because it was pressed past 1993. And of course that goes for anything newer in the 2000s, 98, 94. Pretty much all those are going to be vinyl. We also have a 45 like this. I'm not sure if you can see this, but there is what's called a serrations. There are serrations around the edge of this label. The label is a little bit smaller because they pretty much did not want the label to be over the serrations. But on the edge of this 45, some people call them edges, some people call them whatever they call them, but I believe the official term is serrations. But I think they were put there to lock the 45s in place if one was on top of another one. But this is only on vinyl 45s. You're not going to see serrations like this. Again, you rub your finger and you feel them, and you're not going to see serrations on a styrene 45. You're only going to see them on a vinyl 45. So I did want to go ahead and mention this this record as well. Now, this record has a full-size label. It does not have the smaller label like I just showed you, but it does have serrations. The serrations are pretty easy to see if you have adequate light. You can see them in dark or dim light, maybe not. If you take your finger and you run it around like this, you can feel these serrations. Sometimes they did actually press the label right on top of the serration. So just because the label goes out to the runout does not mean that that's automatically is not going to have the serrations, because I can see them and I can feel them. So again, this 45 has the serrations on it. It is a vinyl record. So that's pretty much it. That's how you can tell a vinyl record from a styrene record. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.